I became principal here at Twin Oaks High School in San Marcos, California, of a continuation high school in 2004, 2005. And what I inherited and what we had as a staff was a situation and a culture whereby gangs and negativity were running the culture of the school just by de facto. And it probably happened incrementally and real slowly. It was just here. But I saw it because I was new. I saw it and felt it real quickly that this wasn't the way to go. And I didn't believe it was a good culture for the at-risk kid. So we made a decision, even at the point where the bell schedule, and we had a morning session for one kind of gang group and an afternoon for the other. We didn't want them to meet. They didn't want to deal with the interaction, the consequences of it, or even dealing with it as a community. So I made a decision to bring it all under one roof. The idea was those who stay will be champions, and we set an expectation that I know we might have a rough start with it, but we're going to show these students that getting along, solving the problem, dealing with the problem, bringing it to the surface, but also having supporting adults in a supporting school was the only way to deal with it. To ignore it was just to feed into it, I thought. We're the adults, we can set the climate of the school where we want it to be. And it really worked out. I had some community pushback. There's a little pushback, well, you're never going to be able to do that. These groups are never going to get along. But we found quite the opposite has happened. It was a little bit of a rough start, and we as a staff and teachers decided to weather it. We had one major fight, and on that day I expelled 13 students. But we also had to build in an infrastructure where we equip them to deal with that anger, to deal with the gang issue. It's one thing to tell them, no, don't do it, but if we don't as educators give them options, give them strategies, give them a lifeline, give them places to talk about it, give them groups to discuss it, involve everybody, then we were doing them a disservice. So really, ever since that day, we've had great fortune. We have a pretty much violent-free campus. We've probably gone 24 months here without a single fight. We know there are tensions, we know the gangs are still here, but they're also now dealing with it and coping with it in a whole different manner. They also understand the expectation to be on our campus is no fighting, never ever, never accepted, and the price is too big to pay. They lose their education. But we try to convince them to stay, but also be accountable.